Your low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your
Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Zimbietta and JJ Buck.
Well, somebody's got to take the hit, I guess. And it's pretty typical who it is. Although, wow, what a surprise. Midday yesterday, Tom Thibodeau took the axe in New York. It's your fault, Tibbs. It's got nothing to do with your haircut either. 505-246. Look, 505-246-0610. Come on in today. Play radio with us. Nick Fan, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Opening drive, and you're here on a Wednesday morning. Jeff Zimbietta and J.J. Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. How you living?
What it do?
I'm all right. I honestly didn't see this coming. I got a call. I was on the phone with somebody mid-afternoon and mentioned it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I flipped over and oh, look at that. Tom Thibodeau was fired by the Knicks. I just didn't see it coming. Their first back-to-back 50-win seasons since 1995 this year. Got to their first conference final since 2000. It's a quarter of a century. I don't know. Did you think it was his fault? I'm looking forward to hearing what Knick fans says. Is this the right move? And we'll throw a bunch of names at you. The coach always takes the hit because it can't be Jalen Brunson's fault, and it can't be Cat's fault, and it can't be Josh Hart's fault. You can't.
It can be everyone's fault. It's just easy to fire the head coach, even before his contract extension kicks in.
All right, so I'll tell you where I sit on this, and I'm curious where you are because we didn't go over this in the production meeting this morning. I got a roster that's good. I went further than I did last year. We were built to beat the Celtics, and we did. You can tell me Jason Tatum was out, but Jason Tatum, they were beat when Jason Tatum went out. We got beat. I think I firmly believe that the New York Knicks front office is having a problem digesting who it is to whom you lost. That it's the Indiana Pacers, and there's no way they can be better than us. And that if somehow, whether it's Michael Malone or Rick Brunson or Jeff Van Gundy or Dan Hurley or Mark Jack, whomever would have been the coach, we would have won that series. I just don't know. Look, I get rotations. I get everybody was frustrated. And the other piece is, and I'll throw this at you and I turn it over to you. The fact that the bench guys like Shamet, who did not play much until the last few games of that series, and then they played so well, gave the front office fodder to say, man, why the hell weren't you going deeper? Why didn't you play those guys more as the season wore on?
Most overrated thing in basketball is when a bench guy has a good game, you think you get 5-6 games.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you totally, although I will slightly, but I believe the front office is looking at that.
You look at any of these teams.
Because, only because the noise was there coming down from the top. Why aren't you playing more dudes?
Because you're paying these dudes to be your starters that got you the Eastern Conference Finals, and they did. The Pacers aren't an incredibly deep team. It's like maybe Benedict Martin has 20 points one game. Oh, it's T.J. McConnell. To me, these things are what you're saying could add up and say, well, this, that, and the other. Okay, yeah, Landry Shamet not playing 20 minutes per game is why he didn't beat the Indiana Pacers. It's the easiest thing to do. I think a big part of this is who they lost to. The Pacers, when the Knicks were the favorites, it wasn't the Cavs. You got past the Celtics, and it was the Pacers. Yeah, guess what? The Pacers are good. Deal with it. They don't play in Los Angeles or New York, and they're good. Deal with it. And I'm not
it this way.
I'm not surprised, even though I was discussing, hey, stay the course. Where Minnesota came out yesterday and said, yeah, we're not blowing things up. We're not going to go crazy after back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances where they didn't make the NBA Finals. But you understand in that market, the pressure that's coming down, and to fire Thibodeau before the contract extension that he signed even kicks in, it's definitely
how much they owe him?
$30 million.
They owe him $30 million. Pay my ass $30 million to go away.
We extended him, gets you even further the next year, and then you fire him.
God bless it. A couple of things. He's won almost 58% of his games as Thibodeau. Highest winning percentage of any coach in the NBA history without a finals appearance. Now, you can say, well, then he can't get you over the top. Okay, that's a strike against him, even though it should be a strike for him. JJ, here's why I think this is premature, abrupt, and I just don't agree with it. I don't care if you're the New York Knicks or the Orlando Magic. There is a process. And I believe they're in the midst of the process, right? Where you take steps in the NBA. Now, you're going to tell me Oklahoma City didn't. Well, they kind of did. They got beat early last year. Indiana did. They took steps. They got beat in the conference finals last year, and now they're in the NBA finals, right? I mean, that's the common trajectory. Now, I know there's no bylaw that says you must go through that process, and you're going to find a team that ascended kind of out of nowhere and got to the finals and won a championship. And there's no exact on this. But there tends to be a process. And the Knicks, whilst they may believe them to be a proud anchor franchise, the reality is the Knicks had not been to a conference championship round in a quarter of a century. It was 2000 last time they were there. They had not won back-to-back 50-game seasons in 30 years. It was 1995. And so the front office gets trigger finger, gets a little itchy because, okay, we're close, and I firmly believe, and JJ, you said it, and I said it earlier, it is to whom they lost that is a big piece here. Because I strongly believe when they beat the Celtics, that front office thought they were going to the finals. That was the big bad dog. That was the defending champion. That was who they were built to beat. And so they get by Boston, and now, well, whatever, Indiana. All right, they're cute. They got the most overrated superstar in the league, and that Siakam's fine. But what else do they got? I don't need. When the guys we wouldn't want. And when you lost game one, and maybe game one might have sealed his fate if they lose the series, and they did, and so he's out. But I just feel like the front office here got itchy trigger finger because I think they, A, think they're better than they are. B, I think they thought they were already through to the finals when they beat the Celtics. And I think game one probably sticks in their craw quite a bit, too.
No doubt about it. It's the way they lost, who they lost to, how they're constructed this season. And when it comes to any team in any discussion when we have it, the fans that watch the games more than everyone else are always going to want to fire the coach.
I don't know in this case, I feel that Nick Fan wanted to fire the coach. Do you? You think that was kind of where that was?
It's always something that bubbles after a loss. As well, it's Thibodeau. It's, you know, the narrative was he was grinding the guys into the ground, and they could never get anywhere. Then they get to Eastern Conference Finals, and then it's, oh, he's out coached. You see Rick Carlisle coach circles around him.
Rick Carlisle's a hell of a coach, by the way. All right, and look, maybe Tibbs is the guy. Maybe they look like geniuses going forward. Maybe the process continues going forward. Maybe or maybe not. Maybe they got their guy. And do you think they know who they want to hire? Michael Malone's sitting there. He's a New York guy. He won an NBA championship 3 years ago. Do you think they know who they want to hire? Jeff Van Gundy's sitting there. He's beloved there. He wants to get back in. He's on an NBA.
Sure, they have, hey, we make this call, we get this guy mentality.
Dan Hurley's up the road. Is this the one that gets Dan Hurley to the NBA?
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino. Yeah, Rick Pitino's 73 years old.
Win now, baby.
Okay. I mean, I'll listen to anything. I mean, Rick Pitino didn't win in his one shot there, but he's at St. John's. He's, I mean, kind of down the hall in some respects. I would assume the call goes to Dan Hurley before Rick Pitino, but okay, I'll listen to anything. But do you think they have their guy? Because I kind of wonder.
Yeah. They think they do. With the thing with Michael Malone is, he won a championship, but he's not that much different than Tibbs. His mentality, what he asked of his starters, playing them huge minutes.
It's kind of today's NBA, isn't it? Who goes deep? What bench goes deep? Is it Oklahoma City?
And that's not even that deep. It's Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
And you get, it's with any of these teams, it's, you want your rotation players to spell your starters some, but not, even OKC, it's not necessarily like you look like, oh, Isaiah Joe's going off every night, or Carson Wallace is going, no, they're playing some minutes, but it's Alex Caruso's the guy that's getting
Indiana?
Yeah, yes, given the fact it could be multiple guys.
I'm
But
just thinking.
just look at the game logs. Like one night it's
No, that's what I'm
Mathurin.
saying.
One night it's McConnell, but it's not every night your bench is going off.
So, to your point, because one of the biggest knocks on Tibbs is he wears his guys out. He doesn't use the bench enough. Who is it that's having success going 9 deep every night? I mean, hell, J.J. Redick, and they lost, didn't make a substitution in the second half of a playoff game. He played his starting 5 the entire second half.
They're like, well, that's why he lost.
That's why he lost, right? So who is it that's having success going deep in their – I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I have it. Steve Kerr? I mean, there's times where he'll throw 12 guys out there in a half just trying to find the right rotation.
That's because Steph Curry wasn't playing.
Right. But, I mean, he goes deeper than most normally.
Let's say you look at the Thunder, the game they lost in overtime to the Nuggets. Right?
All right.
Starters played 40, 43, 31, 45.
Out of 46 minutes or 48 minutes. And then plus overtime, so 53.
And then you had 2 players off the bench play 20 or more minutes.
So you're going 7 deep. I mean, that's
with guys like 14, 13.
right.
But
So I'm struggling with the argument that that's what he didn't do when it really feels like that is the way it's done in the NBA. And again, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean that's the way it has to be done. But it feels like show me somebody who's winning that's going 8, 9 deep on a regular basis. You got 9 guys, 8 guys that are getting 15 or more minutes a night. Doesn't seem to be there. All right, we got a lot to do. Nick Fan, let's go. 505-246-0610. I know you're there. 505-246-0610. That's the phone number and the text line. Emails Jeff at sportsanimallabq.com. JJ at sportsanimallabq.com. On the X, he's _ JJ Buck. On the Facebook, the OD in the AM. Adrian's producing on television. You can watch us on Xfinity Channel 26. You can watch us on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. You can watch us on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. Guest list, 8 o'clock this morning. We'll talk college football. We're going down to Las Cruces. Second-year New Mexico State head coach, Tony Sanchez, going to join us coming up at 8 o'clock. Talk to him about spring camp, what they're doing during the summer, transfer portal, all those things. We haven't caught up with Tony in a minute, so we're going to do that. Got tickets to give away today. This will be fun. Tyler Childress is playing tomorrow night at the Isleta Amphitheater. Special guest, Hayes Carl. We're going to give away a pair of tickets at 8:25 this morning, and somebody's going to be able to go to that, and the winner of the winners will get an exclusive Bud Light Backyard Deck Pass for that show as well. So 505-246-0610. Come on in. When we get back, I want to continue to talk about this. Who is next for the Knicks? Which way should they go? Who's watching your home? You're out now. You're out and about. The family might not be there. You're going on vacation this summer. Who's watching your house while you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys and not the bad guys, because property crime continues to be an issue. IPS takes care of that. International Protective Service watches my home. They have for years. It is affordable private security that protects what you have worked so hard to build, your home, your business. IPS provides standing guards if you require eyes on your property around the clock. IPS will install alarms and camera systems for you. They've got a state-of-the-art facility that monitors those cameras 24/7. All of this is raising the level of security around your home and around your business. So I ask you all the time, who's watching your home? Make sure it's the good guys. Don't wait to be a victim. It's then too late. IPS's number, 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick kid.
Well, WFAN on this if you want to, right? Freaking Tibbs, Him and that haircut. Why didn't he quit anyway? Going bald already. They should just quit. Then they quit on him, Get the hell out of here. Bring Van Gundy back. I like old Van Grumpy. He was good. The hell with him. Michael Malone would be the right guy. The Knicks, they fired their coach after winning 50 games and going to the conference finals already. The hell's wrong with you over there? It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau. You like it? Right move, wrong move, and, well, now what? So which way do you go? You're not blowing up the roster, I don't think, or maybe you are. There's all the Giannis and Kevin Durant talk around, and they're going to move Karl Anthony Towns. 505-246-0610. Miguel, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living, Miguel?
Hey, real good. Good morning, guys. Hey, just wanted to pipe in on the Knicks thing. I'm laughing because I'm anti-Nick, but I'm a huge NBA fan. Fact: 4 of the 5 years Thibodeau was coaching, Knicks made the playoffs.
Yep.
He was 226 and 174. That was his coaching record in New York. Yet they're firing this guy. And I'm going to throw a name out. This is my conspiracy. Nobody else's conspiracy, so probably not true. But you got the Villanova 3 and Brunson, Bridges, and Hart.
Jay Wright.
Nobody's talking about
Jay
him.
Wright.
What about bringing Jay Wright
Jay
in?
Wright. Yeah, no, his name's all over the place. Jay Wright's all over the place. Yep.
Yeah. And the final thing I want to say real quick about the finals, there's a tangible out there nobody else is talking about. The finals are starting tomorrow night. They're in Oklahoma City. Everybody's thinking Oklahoma City's going to win the finals, which I myself included. But the bright lights of the finals and these two younger teams, neither team has a whole lot of veterans. I think that first game's going to be a little shaky, and I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana's going to pull an upset. It would be the first game of the series.
Well, I like that a lot. Thanks, Miguel. Great
Okay,
call. By the way, if I bet tomorrow night, I would bet Indiana.
Right there with you.
I think I'm getting 9 points. I might even bet them on the money line. If they're going to get one, I think it just because everything is going Oklahoma City's way, and it's like, damn, it's just, I don't know. I'm not telling you I think they're going to win the series. I think Oklahoma City wins the series, but I just kind of like Indiana tomorrow. You're there?
Yeah, I would take Indiana in the points tomorrow.
Is that like 9.5 or something?
It was a pretty big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jay Wright thing's real. I really believe the Jay Wright thing is real. Now, are they always going to have all these Villanova guys? Brunson, Hart, right? I mean, are they always going to have them all? Who's the other one? There's a third on there.
Bridges.
Yeah,
that one feels made up.
I don't think it does.
I don't think Jay Wright takes the job.
Okay.
So I think, you could call Jay Wright.
Why don't you think so? You think he's stoked?
Well,
he's good?
I think he's just chilling, and that's still a grind. Yeah, it's pro
It's a
sports,
grind.
and it's different when you see some of these guys go, I don't want to deal with name, image, and likeness in college. He just feels like one of those guys that is content. Nice job. We see him NCAA tournament coverage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jay Wright feels like a young 63. If he's going to take another job, it would be now. Now, he may never. Like he could, you know what, I got all the money I ever want. I got good gig. I'm doing TV. Or, this one's intriguing. They're throwing how much money at me?
And you're stepping in to not just the Villanova guys, but a team that, man, we should be competing once again to be in the conference finals.
Mm-hmm. The NBA's thrown their fish in the line for Jay Wright before, and he said no. I'm not nearly as convinced he absolutely is out on this one. Would you rather have him or Dan Hurley?
Jay Wright.
I would too. I absolutely would rather have Jay Wright than Dan Hurley. I don't think Dan Hurley's got the composure to coach in the NBA, to be honest with you. I just don't think his act is going to go over well with grown-ass men. I just don't. The yelling, the screaming, I'm just a weird guy. Yeah, cool, man. It works when in college. I just don't see his act playing in the NBA. The Lakers made that hard run after him. Is that when they hired Darvin Ham, right? It was 2 times ago. Wasn't the J.J. Redick one, was it?
No, I think it was the last one.
Was it the last one? Okay, it might have been. I didn't think that was right. I mean, the Lakers were, oh my goodness, we'll have, that was Dan Hurley getting in LeBron James's face. Like that. Right? I'm a 40-something-year-old man. Get out of my face. But Jay Wright's style, and it's not just because of the Villanova guys, although that's an obvious tie. The East Coast guys, this is a coveted gig, man. If you're going to go college, I would go him over Hurley or Pitino, to be honest with you. Who do you think the front runner is? Is it Malone? I mean, that's the betting favorite.
That one was really interesting. It's just the only difference really between Malone and Thibodeau. Of course, it's a huge one, but it's championship. And in terms of style, what they asked of their starters, it's very similar.
One guy had Nikola Jokic, the other guy didn't. Right? Now, you can make an argument that this Knicks roster, because I heard yesterday that the Knicks roster is so much better than Denver's roster, and I'm not certain I believe that. I'm sorry, Denver's roster is so much better than the Knicks roster, and I'm not sure I believe that. After Nikola Jokic, I mean, Jamal Murray was really good in that run, but is he better than Jalen Brunson? I mean, it's Jokic's better than Towns. But after that, go down the roster. I mean, Aaron Gordon's really good. Do you love Michael Porter? Do you love anything else that's on the Nuggets roster that they won a championship with? I thought he did a hell of a job. And one of the keys with him was that organization stuck with him when they were not winning. Something soured at the end. But obviously people like him, and he did a hell of a job. What do you think of Van Gundy? I mean, can you play that again? They love him there.
Yeah, and it is always interesting to see how going away doing TV makes everyone fall in love with him.
It's worked once really well, right? With Steve Kerr.
But it's just a lot of these, once they get in to broadcasting, it's like just a whole different image with these guys.
I think Jay Wright is still the same level coach. You think the same thing of Jay Wright. I don't know that.
Van Gundy was coaching last year.
No, he's on a bench.
Clippers. It was an assistant coach.
Yeah, no, I know he got back in, which makes me think that, he wants to get back in the game, wants to get back at the top seed. Jay Wright, to me, is still thought of at the same level, even though he's doing TV. Do you think of Jay Wright as a broadcaster or a coach?
As coach.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's a limited time I see Jay Wright on TV.
I think that's right,
Madness.
too. I think that's right. How if you're the front office, what's your order? You want to talk to people?
And then there's Taylor Jenkins out there.
Okay. I like that a lot. Yep.
Another one of those out of nowhere firings this season in Memphis.
Does Mark Jackson get a shot?
No.
Never.
Mark Jackson is not an upgrade over Tibbs to me. I wouldn't feel better with Mark Jackson.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on that. So what's the order of phone calls for you?
Malone. I'm calling Gundy. There's too much noise to think they won't call Jay Wright.
I'm calling Jay Wright first. I'm interested. And that doesn't mean I want to hear what he has to say. I'm calling Michael Malone second. Rick Brunson deserves a call. He's sitting on my bench, and Van Gundy. I'm not interested in Dan Hurley. I'm just not. But that's me if I'm running that organization. I just don't think that works there. 505-246-0610. Where are you going if you're the Knicks? What are you going to do? We got a lot of local stuff. There was a big story. JJ, we got to get into this. There was a big story earlier this year out in Rio Rancho. A player urinated in a team's water jug. That case is kind of closed. How it ended and some thoughts on that. 505-246-0610. Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's head football coach, coming up at 8 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This traffic.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard.
The New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet is coming up later this month. I'm going to talk to some of the guys that are going in over the next few weeks. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Michael Sinclair is going to be with us. He spent 11 years in the National Football League, played his college football at Eastern New Mexico University, was drafted in the 6th round by the Seahawks, spent 11 years in the NFL, sacked John Elway more than anybody else sacked John Elway. But we'll talk with him about his career and going in and coming out of Eastern and talk to him about football now. But that's going to be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Michael Sinclair is going to be with us as he gets inducted into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame coming up later this month. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck, 505-246-0610. J.J., what was this, about 2 months ago? I think it was in March. This story came out about a baseball player, a junior varsity baseball player in Rio Rancho. Played for Rio Rancho High. Was accused of urinating in the La Cueva team water jug. And some players did drink out of that. And the district attorney's office looked into this. Evidently, the player said, yeah, no, he did it. This is basically closed. The Rio Rancho Observer reported yesterday that the chief deputy district attorney out in Sandoval County said that after careful research, it was determined the actions alleged did not amount to any crime as written in our statutes. They were looking at battery. Look, I'm not looking for put a kid away for life. But how is urinating in someone's water jug and they drink, like, how is that not a crime? If it doesn't fit battery, how is there not something on our books that it fits?
This one, I'm with you, and everyone says, what if it was your kid that drank it? Yeah, I'd be incredibly upset. But would you want that many battery chargers on a 16-year-old or 50, whatever, near the age of the kid, if for a very dumb mistake? I would think that I'd want accountability. Like, I'm thinking like community service. Like, you do have to have some punishment, man. Like, you can't do that. That is incredibly wrong. That is more than just a practical joke. And even if you did it back in the day, guess what? It was still wrong to do back in the day. You want some accountability, responsibility, and that's what I'd be looking for.
Which means to me, there's a crime here. Tell me the difference, and I'll lean on the lawyers, okay? Between me urinating in your drink and me roofing you. If someone gets roofied, you put something in someone's drink at a bar, is that legal?
No.
What's the charge there?
Trying to roofie.
Well, okay, but what's the difference? I put something in your drink.
And then you usually try to assault that person.
Okay, but the assault's a different charge, or is it? Is it okay? So the assault would be the crime, but putting something in one's drink is not a crime?
It absolutely is a crime. And I think this is one where they didn't know how to hold this person accountable, just through the charges that were brought by the police saying, hey, this is what we think. And they're like, we don't want to charge this kid with 16 cases of battery.
Look, I understand not wanting to ruin a young man's life. I also understand that this young man and maybe accomplices has to be held, to your point, has to be held accountable, and there's got to be a misdemeanor. There's got to be something here. What deters the next kid in the next place from, well, I got away from it, I'm going to pee in their water jug too? Why is that okay? Like there's got to be a deterrent here. There's got to, JJ, I hear you. I'm not looking to destroy a kid's life, and it wasn't my kid who drank it, and I'd be pissed if it was. I'd be furious. There's got to be something here.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, since it's not being just prosecuted, like how you would hold that accountable for, like I said, community service, something where, like I said, it's not okay.
The chief deputy district attorney in Sandoval County, Jessica Martinez, quote, she said that, she said this, the New Mexico law defines battery as, quote, unlawful, intentional touching or application of force to another when done in a rude, insolent, or angry manner. She said the state does not have a law that addresses this specific set of facts. So we got to put a law on the books next year that if you pee in someone's drink, it's illegal? Again, I'm not looking to ruin the kid's life.
It sounds like they didn't want to go through the hassle
100%
of
is what that sounds like.
Making it work, of getting to a point where, again, there's charges, but is it one where, all right, you are essentially kind of on probation, right? You have to go do something, serve your time. Because, I would hope that you wouldn't have to charge a kid with 16 counts of battery for a 14 or 15-year-old to know to not go pee in a jug.
So what's right? Nothing?
I don't think that's right, but there's
where's the middle
on
between
them for not wanting to try to find the middle.
Yeah, where's the middle between 16 counts of battery and nothing? I agree with you. There's a difference between beating a kid to a pulp, but there's got to be something to me. 505-246-0610. All right, I'll lead on the law. So, Rudy, good morning. Is there's got to be something on the books here? What's the difference between I peed in your drink and I dropped a roofie in your drink?
Well, a battery is technically application of force to another person when done in a rude, insolent, or angry manner.
Right. So find me. So there's got to be something else on the books, is there? Or there's got to be a law that says specifically you can't pee in someone's drink.
The problem was the charge.
But you can change that, right? I mean, upon investigation, you can find a different charge.
I mean, if they wanted to, I really think probably what happened is people really understood, it was a childish, stupid prank, and I'm sure there's been some other repercussions for the young man. But it wasn't a battery. If you roofie somebody's drink, you're trying to poison them or,
All right. What about urinating in there? Are you not trying to poison them if you urinate in their drink?
No, you can't die from drinking urine. In fact, if you watch these things on Facebook, there's a guy out there now telling you that you should drink your own urine.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
So but it's definitely troubling, and you have to do something to correct that, for the young man going forward, and I'm sure they will. I just want to sound off again on this whole Pac-2 thing. Obviously, they wouldn't be turning their names in if they didn't have an 8th team, I would think. That would be the height of, I don't even know the word, stupidity to announce that you're leaving a conference that you don't have an 8th member for football.
I think they're certain they will get one. I got to believe they have a plan.
So you don't think they have somebody in their pocket
that's already said yes?
That's already said yes, and they're just waiting on the timing and trying to get everything lined up. I mean, if Teresa Gold is that short-sighted that she talked these 5 schools into leaving and signing off and paying their $5,000 initial exit fee, and not have an 8th team in your pocket that is going to join your conference, you're really playing with fire, because isn't it just another month that they have to announce that 8th team?
Yeah, but they have to, the 8th team has to give a year notice to the conference in which they're currently member.
That's what I'm
saying. To get out without their fees going up. Yeah, they're running out of time, man.
So somebody's going to have to pull the trigger here by the end of June.
I believe that's right. Yeah. And I'm fairly confident it's Texas State, but yes, they got to figure that out.
Not for a half share. If I'm Texas State, I'm saying I want 2 shares now.
Yeah, right.
You want me that bad? This is going to get crazy.
Yep. All right, man. No, I appreciate you, and thanks for the clarification. All right, if you're there, stay there. We got to hit this break. Manny, you're up next. 505-246-0610. I got text coming in on this situation as well. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the
All right, I got a text from Adrian on the Rio Rancho thing. It says should be charged with assault, public urination, both criminal and civil lawsuits at least. Plus, of course, permanently suspended with accomplices. Permanently suspended. So, all right, Adrian says permanently, the young man, and we're talking about the Rio Rancho baseball player, the JV baseball player, who the DA said there's nothing to charge him with there. He didn't break the law when he urinated in the La Cueva water jug and they drank it. There's no law in the books to be charged with. Adrian says charge him with assault, public urination, both criminal and civil lawsuits, and suspend him and his accomplices permanently. It's quite penal. And maybe there's a middle ground somewhere.
There has to be a middle ground to this. Because of all the stuff that's going on, like, this would be the last thing I'd want to see set an example with the issues we have, and it's like this would be the flag. Be like, all right, this is what's going to get you permanently suspended from school.
Yeah, I don't know. Set an example, but does it set an example if you do nothing?
No.
Really?
Well,
so you're
dude,
saying just let him walk
because this happens. I'm not saying just let him walk. I'm saying work harder, just because it doesn't meet battery charges.
Yep.
Like, figure out something to hold a young person accountable. I'm not sitting here like thinking that permanently suspend him, never do this or that again. Like, it was awful. No one's saying that. But also, parents out there thinking that, man, the only way for my kid to not pee in a jug is if this kid gets hit with 16 battery charges. No, that's a you thing too.
Yeah, I don't know that I need 16 battery charges. I think there's got to be a misdemeanor that probably leaves his record when he's 21. That there's something there that, to your point, I don't know that I need him to go to jail, but there's got to be some sort of penance on this. Because I'm going to tell you, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but there's somebody out there going, well, why don't I do it? I mean, there's no consequence to it. There's got to be some consequence to doing even knucklehead stuff that's that knucklehead.
I agree with that.
And I agree with you. I don't need 16 battery charges. I don't need to ruin the kid's life. I don't. He doesn't need to go to prison. He doesn't need to go to juvenile hall. He doesn't need to spend the rest of his minor life behind bars. No. But there's got to be something here. And again, I'm not sure I understand the difference between putting one thing in someone's drink and another. And if it's not poison, but there's got to be something. But evidently there's not. All right, let me check all these things. I agree with this one. Says, I agree with Jeff that there needs to be a charge of some sort. He did it to the wrong school, though. La Cueva parents have the money to sue, where Albuquerque High parents most likely don't. I don't believe anybody's suing. That's the thing. I'm not. Again, I'll lean on the lawyers. Is there a civil charge here? Is there? Can the parents of one of the La Cueva athletes who drank out of this jug, can they? What are they suing for? Did something happen? Have you been permanently damaged? Or have you been psychologically damaged? Again, that's a different story. I'll hit that later. All right, 505-246-0610. I'll let this go, but just needed to bring it up. Kind of curious where you are on it. What are we inside? Like 90-something days, JJ, college football? 90, I want to say 96. New Mexico State will open up the season. I think both the Lobos and the Aggies open up on the same day, on the 30th of August, Labor Day weekend. The Lobos will be on NBC against Michigan. The Aggies will open up at home against Bryant, the Bryant Bulldogs. For the second year as head coach for New Mexico State alumna Tony Sanchez. Tony Samuel's the former, like 4 formers ago. How many formers ago? Tony Sanchez. Goodness gracious with me in the names. Tony Sanchez is going to join us next. Talk to him about spring camp, about the portal, about moving forward. It's been a minute since we caught up with Tony Sanchez, the head football coach at New Mexico State. That's next on the opening drive. Holy smokes. On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. all your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard.
Gentlemen, and the Final Four. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, my calendar tells me it's 87 days, 12 weeks, 3 days before kickoff of college football. New Mexico State will be at home. The Bryant Bulldogs will be in town for the Aggies to kick off. They get 2 at home to start, Bryant and Tulsa, before heading on the road for a Conference USA game at Louisiana Tech, and then the rivalry game against New Mexico. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. It's been a minute since we touched base with second-year head coach Tony Sanchez at New Mexico State. Aggies had spring practice. They just went through spring meetings. Recruiting is a year-long thing, and Tony Sanchez joins us on The Sports Animal. Good morning, Tony. How you living?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Life's grooving. Appreciate you spending some time. Good to see you a couple weeks ago, maybe that was even last week, down in Florida. League meetings happening, and I know you solved the world's problems down there. It's been a second since we talked to your fans up here about this. Coming out of spring, I know you felt really good after the spring game in Artesia. Talk a little bit about spring overall and then the roster and what happens after that, because certainly the portal opened.
Yeah, no doubt. The spring was really good. I mean, we felt really good about it. Just, after that spring game, driving home, you knew you had a really, really solid football team, and I think we still do. I think some of the major pieces are all here. I don't think anybody's free from the tampering and the things that go on, in the transfer portal and stuff. So, Seth McGowan, running back, moved on, went to Kentucky, got got a nice little sum of money, so, good for him. But again, we were able to replace him with a guy named Kadarius Callaway, came from Cal Berkeley, a guy who originally signed with Alabama out of high school as a safety, and then he's played running back the last bunch of years, and he's a really good player, big, stout kid, 220 pounds, right at 6'1", so it works both ways. You're going to get some guys who are going to get an opportunity to go up, and you're going to get some guys that, there's changes and such, and they're going to come down to you just kind of like we got, Seth. So, we had a little of that. Lost some guys like Buda Palete, who'd been around for a long time. Really, good football player, solid player for us, not like a first-team all-conference guy, but he'd done well over the years. And, but again, you were able to go ahead and replace him with a guy like Larry Jones, who came from Liberty, who's a good football player, gave us fits in the game last year, and a guy like Jamal Thompson, who brought in from Stanford University, who's played a bunch of snaps. So, again, it kind of works both ways. You lost some guys, and, and then you bring some good guys in. And I think, we've already started. Guys showed up on Monday, but when I'm looking at this group right here, the roster we have, I'm really excited about it. So, especially at the quarterback spot. We had 4 quarterbacks who played last year, and they combined for one Division I start. And now we got 4 guys that are battling right now. Obviously, Logan's, got the nod, but we got 3 guys who have Division I starts. So, we're way far ahead than we were last year.
Tony, I look at the roster. You got running backs from Utah. You got guys. There's some positions that maybe it's tougher to replace. The offensive line, I know you felt good about the line at one point. Replacing guys, is it more of a crapshoot? Is it harder to find offensive linemen that you feel good about, especially when you lose a guy like Buda?
Yeah, you're on the defensive line.
Yeah. Both lines actually. I meant Buda on the defensive line, but both lines.
There's no doubt. The thing about it, though, is last year we showed up this summer. We had 47 new bodies, right? So over half your scholarship roster, right? We showed up, yesterday. We got 28 new guys, and some of them you want to be impactful guys, and some of them are younger guys who are going to roll up. Most of our important guys are back, especially on the defensive line. You got Gabe Peterson, he's been a 3-year starter. He was an all-conference guy for us 2 years ago. Again, you replace a guy like Buda with a guy like Larry Jones, who played at Liberty last year. Jamal Thompson, who's been a 3-year starter over where he's from. We've got guys that have played a bunch of football. Brad Vasily, he was a transfer in, but he started every game last year. So, again, you've got guys that have played. I think the biggest issue for us was O-line. And I think one of the things is when you're looking at the portal, there's talent and all this, but you put a lot of premium on guys that, like you said, have played snaps, like who's actually played, right? And we were worried about the O-line, but, Mikael Lee, who we got in the spring, came over from North Texas, who'd started a bunch of games in his career at left tackle. He did a great job for us in the spring, and then we had to really grind it out. But at the last second, we were able to get Malik Williams. He's a 13-game starter last year at San Jose into a bowl game. He's got 27 career starts. He's played in 37 games. It was really, really good getting him at the last second. So you got a guy, again, who started on the team that went and won a bowl game last year, so excited about that. And got a guy like Florian Strahler, who came from Townsend, who's a 2-year starter over there, so it's great getting him. And then we brought a big JUCO guy in named Evan Bletier from American River. So in those last 2 weeks, we were able to kind of be patient and really battle and win some, important battles, especially with Malik Williams. And bringing some guys, with game experience, guys that have actually played.
Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's head football coach, is with us on the Sports Animal.
Well, Tony, with all the changes we've talked about over the last few years, there's been more of a focus on, football, the transfer windows. Do you think that coaches and really the sport would be open to having a discussion about spring football and moving to more of the summer OTA model where there was only one transfer window?
Well, when we were in our our postseason meetings, we don't always agree on everything, but it was 133-0 that we needed one transfer window. We all agree with it. The only thing though the second window is good for is tampering. Let's just be honest. None of the guys that went in the portal from us were planning on going in, but they get talked to on the side. And heck, we lost a tackle for over $1 million. You know, we lost a running back for $500. You know, I think we have 5 running backs playing in the SEC next year. So it's one of those deals where now on the flip side, those schools that are coming and poaching from us, they've been poached from somebody else too. You know, so I think it's all relative. So I think at some point, I don't know any coach would really disagree with this. You'd want your team for 1 year. At some point, you kind of rubber stamp your team. Okay, this is your football team, and you're going to go coach them for the next year. It's kind of tough, especially like it was last year for us when you're sitting there. And guys are showing up in June, and over half your team is brand new. I mean, where's the development there? I mean, really, it's getting them in shape, getting back in the weight room, trying to teach them the system. You know, you're kind of shotgunning the whole process, which this sport's not really meant for that, you know. So I think everybody agrees we need to have one portal window. The big debate is when is it going to be. I think guys in our league agree with the SEC where the earlier the better. I mean, you'd love to see it in January so you could have your team ready to roll. I know there's some other conferences that are talking about an April/May window. I don't see how that benefits anybody. You're going to have a bunch of guys on your campus that you're training and working out with that are going to go in the portal really late, and you're going to be kind of in that same boat, especially for our G5 programs like us, programs like New Mexico. It's like, you know, for us, I think you want it to happen earlier, kind of rip the Band-Aid off, figure out who's coming, who's going, get your team together, and then you can kind of go in the submarine together for a season. So I think that's the healthiest thing at this point. There's always going to be a transfer portal, I get that, but the 2 portal window, I don't really see how it helps with program building and player development, and the thing that nobody cares about anymore, graduation.
Yeah. You mean school? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's just a topic that nobody discusses anymore.
Well, with that, you mentioned the development of it, and you can't change as a coach, but expectations are, I think, different from a lot of people in the transfer portal era, thinking that you can get dudes right away that are able to play and contribute. So how do you go about it? Do you maintain that same mindset you have as a coach of development, or has that changed with as much movement and roster turnover that you have?
Well, when you get guys, you know, I mean, you still have to, you got to really balance the approach, right? And none of it can wait. Like, if you're a guy that gets all nervous because you got a guy leaving or this and that, and I mean, it is what it is. It's going to happen. I think most of us have accepted it. I mean, it's not personal. It's business. You know, it's very transactional. Doesn't mean you don't care about the guys. It doesn't mean that, you know, during the time you're together, you're not, you know, building those relationships. But like I talked to the team this year, I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I know I got you guys for the next 7 months. So, you know, let's build some respect for each other. Let's go to work and let's go have, you know, a great season. That's a conversation I never would have had a couple of years ago, you know. So I think it depends. Like, if you get guys that are coming in that January time frame and such, yeah, there's a lot of development. You know, you get guys that are coming in June, there's some development, but let's be honest. I mean, you know, you got them for 2 months and then you start camp. So, you know, how much strength and conditioning and, you know, and just, you know, body pattern movement and, you know, and how much team building and, you know, and how much, you know, culture and, you know, and how much football skill development and all that stuff can happen. I mean, it's a whole different deal when you got a guy in January than when you got a guy in June, you know, and a lot of it's based on what were they doing up to the point that they came to you. Did they go in the portal early and not go through spring? Did they go through spring? I mean, there's a lot of different variables. So I think you've got to be really, really open and multifaceted in your approach to development, especially in the later summer.
Tony Sanchez is the second-year head football coach down at New Mexico State at his alma mater. He's with us on the Sports Animal. Tony, how about conversations with players? You've been in this business for a while now. You coach at the high school level. You coach at the college level, a number of places. I don't know how you trust anybody anymore. Like, just leading into you, there was a national piece that Texas Tech offered their softball pitcher $1 million in NIL. She went from Stanford to Texas Tech. When there's that kind of money running around, and you know that you just don't. You have to keep up with your peer institutions, but you come out of camp, like you said, you lose a lineman for north of $1 million after camp, after you think you've got him, after you think you developed him. What are the conversations like? Because I know you want to be honest with them. You got to hope they're honest with you. But how do you know who to trust anymore in your business, in your room, period?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I you know, it's all is fair in love and war. You know, I mean, I don't. I mean, when it comes to your peers and stuff like that, everybody's trying to win, and I mean, there's really no rules. You know, people are just doing whatever they got to do to build their roster. So that's an interesting dynamic. But when it comes to the players, to be honest with you, when a kid comes in and he's got a 7-figure opportunity, you know what you do is you give him a hug, you advise him a little bit on putting money away in 401ks for later in life and things like that. You wish him luck. You know, I mean, you're not going to keep a kid who's getting offered, even, Seth, it's like, man, you wish a kid luck. You hope he does well, and that's a lot of money. It could be life-changing if you invest it and don't spend it on things like cars and, giving stuff away to family and things like that. I mean, if you take care of it, then, you got a little nest egg later in the future. The ones that, that kind of baffle you a little bit is when a kid, kind of makes a lateral move because he's getting, an extra maybe $30,000 or something like that. And I get it, that's a little bit of money, but when you're a little bit older and you've lived life, that's not life-changing money. So to me, you got to really look at opportunity. So again, it really depends on the dollar amount and who's advising them. You hope they have really good advisors. It's crazy when you see a kid come in who's got one season left to play and he's 40 some odd hours away from graduation, and they're somebody's enticing them to go for a little bit more money, and you're sitting there scratching your head going like, who's talking to you about graduation? I mean, who's going to pay for your school after next semester? That's going to take care of you for a lot longer. Now again, every situation's different. I mean, if you're a kid who's got 3 years to go and you're getting, a good amount of money and, you've got time to make up for it, well, I get it. So I try to look at it from the business perspective. I try not to take it personal because it's really not personal. Right. I cannot tell you how many times a kid comes in and he's tearing up and, he's crying and this and that, but, this is what he's been offered. And, we don't have kids that come in anymore telling us that they just want to go in the portal to go in the portal. They go into the portal and they already have a place to go. So that just kind of tells you the whole story,
Which is just not the way the system was supposed to work. He's Tony Sanchez with us just for a few more minutes on the Sports Animal.
Well, Coach, I think my favorite thing that's come out of the last few years, name, image, and likeness, is the return of EA Sports College Football. It's just an unbelievable game, and now that you get to be in the game, head coaches are in it. What's that like? 'Cause I know, growing up, so many of these dudes were playing college football, the different variations of it, and now it's been such a big part of the sport the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's great to have it back and have the players in it and such. Everybody gets a couple bucks out of it, and it's a fun deal. I know our kids play it like crazy, but I think that, like for my kids and maybe grandkids, it'll probably be cooler for them because they're probably into gaming a little bit more than I am. So it'll be kind of a cool little keepsake for them to have. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be part of the history, and it's still a great game. It's still got a great history and tradition. I just think we're fighting our tails off how to figure out how to keep it solid for years to come. But yeah, it's a neat deal.
All right, you open up with Bryant. Have you started to look at them? Is it camp? Is it what's the mindset? Are you still in recruiting mode? I know here we are. Summer school's out. Kids are away for a while. Summer programs are starting to come back. What's the focus for the next month or so?
Yeah, no, we're good. We got our full boat. Our entire team is here right now. Everybody is working out and running, and they're here for the summer. They got their 21-day break, and we were able to get our roster solidified. So it's good to have all these guys here right now. And yeah, Bryant's the first deal on the ticket. So right now, it's really about us, about coming together as a team, doing some team building activities, and getting out there and getting them, making sure they're in the shape they need to be in. And then as we kind of, coach is obviously away from them, we're looking at Bryant and looking at some different things. And, we're doing it's interesting now to use these 4 game studies. So, like, we got them, then we have Tulsa, and then you have La Tech, and you have New Mexico, first 4, right? Well, so much of it's different now because the rosters are so fluid. It's wild. You don't know who's really going to be there, who's the quarterback going to be. Staffs are as wild as the players are now. So, you're watching a lot of film from where a guy used to be at, coaches and such and players. So, yeah, we are doing that right now. And but, again, right now it's one of those deals where our guys are out there every morning and they're grinding away, running, and hitting that weight room.
All right, I'm blowing up the clock for you, but I got one more for you. I was at the league meetings, and your league's evolved. I met Ryan Beard, the new head coach at I met him again at Missouri State. He came to the New Mexico Bowl with Central Michigan a few years ago. Delaware, I played golf with Jacksonville State's new head coach. A lot of movement in your league, but added the addition of Missouri State, Delaware, Kennesaw State looks like they got better. Obviously, what Jacksonville State's doing with Rich Rod leaving, but boy, they bring in a really experienced head coach. Just the evolution of your league and the additions and where you're going. Your thoughts as you looked around that room the other day.
Yeah, again, a lot of new faces and such, and again, G5 football. It's kind of funny. I don't think there's any. You got to do it because people want to watch college football on ESPN all day long in the off season, and you want to read magazines, nobody knows who's going to be the best team in the league next year. I mean, when we're away from everybody and we sit down and we have a cocktail and we talk about the season and stuff, everybody's got 30 or 40 new guys. Everybody's trying to grab, get a better quarterback. Everybody's trying to grab some depth and stuff. So like Jacksonville State had a great year last year. They lost the overwhelming amount of their dudes, but they have a good new coach coming in, right? Who's experienced. Well, are his players? I mean, we're going to find out. Missouri State, making the jump up. There is a difference there. Again, who lost who do you replace them with?
Yeah, Liberty.
What kind of continuity do you build? It's interesting.
Yeah, Liberty lost players too. All right, we'll catch up with you as the summer goes on. Camp will open. I just can't believe it's like 87 days away to kick it off and getting things going. But I've been wanting to catch up with you for a while and give your fans a little recap on spring and where you are. We'll catch up with you as camp gets set to open, and I'll run into you at some point this summer. Enjoy the summer. Always appreciate the conversation.
You got it, man. Sorry it took so long, but recruiting lasts a little bit longer nowadays.
Yeah, I get it. I understand it. It's year-round. Be well, and I'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care. He's Tony Sanchez, the head football coach at New Mexico State. His stepdaughter was in the airport, by the way, wearing the New Mexico Bowl, the New Mexico Bowl Letterman's
great jacket.
Loved it. 505-246-0610. Respond to that. Got tickets to give away coming up about 8:30-ish to go see On the Road with Tyler Childress, special guest Hayes Carl. That's just in a few minutes from now on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
John Thomas Jewelers. Go by and check out why they're my jeweler and why they're going to be yours as well. Why they've been named the best jewelry store in Albuquerque. Why they're the fastest growing jeweler in New Mexico. Why they've been called the coolest jewelry store in America by In-Store Magazine. John Thomas Jewelers is my spot. Whether you're shopping for an engagement ring, an anniversary gift, a graduation gift, just a piece of beautiful jewelry for you or that significant person. They got over 3,000 ladies and men's bridal rings on hand right now to try on. If you don't like what they have, they'll make something for you in their state-of-the-art design center. It's on premises, and it's amazing. John Thomas Jewelers was my spot the second I walked in the door. You'll understand why they're different. It's not some run-of-the-mill mall jewelry store. This is wonderful service and amazing, amazing jewelry. Go by and visit John. It's on the 3rd floor of the Lewis University building on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal, 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310. John Thomas Jewelers. Love the place. They're my jewelry store. They will be yours. It's where Albuquerque gets engaged. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Appreciate Tony spending some time with us. Lobo fan says, how does anyone take him seriously? He's 23 and 49. There's a lot of coaches that it's hard to win. He was at a place, well, I guess UNLV's won since, although it took 2 coaches after that. And let's see. I'm interested to see what they do. What do you think of Logan Fife as their quarterback? He was the Fresno State quarterback. He was up in Montana last year, and he comes down and probably is the front. I don't think probably. He's the front runner
to start.
Yeah.
I like it a lot, just that experience. A guy that can go in there, you said, played at a high level, been there, done that, and that's huge to have at that position. I mean, you're just hoping to find some consistency to be able to put yourself in contention. Having Logan Fife can do that for the Aggie offense.
Yeah, I think there's another thing that Tony, look, there's no guarantee anybody's going to be successful, right? And I look at the history of coaches at New Mexico State, and I'm not telling you he's going to fit the trend. Jerry Kill was the outlier, right? I think I thought Tony Samuel was a really good coach. I know Hal Mumme was a good coach. I thought Dwayne. Why am I forgetting Dwayne's last name? The defensive coordinator from UCLA, Dwayne Walker, was a really good coach. Doug Martin had some success down there. It's been a tough place historically to win. There's been plenty of places who call it the toughest Division I or FBS job in America. But I think one thing that Tony's got is the acceptance of the new now. And that means he understands at the group of 5 level what's going to happen every year. And so, like he said, I got you now for the next X number of months. This is us. I know that next year at this time it's going to look different. And you can sit here and try to fool yourself and fool your room that you guys are going to be with me for 3-4 years. And everybody knows, man, if I do well, there's money waiting for me. They got on the bus. They played their spring game in Artesia, JJ. And he I looked some of this up, and the talk is, and while none of the numbers are absolutely public, he lost his running back after his spring game. Kentucky, right, paid him $500,000. He lost a lineman for $1.3 million. You can't do that at New Mexico State, nor at New Mexico. And like you said, a kid comes in with a 7-figure deal, I give him a hug. I wish him well. And I don't dispute that the guys come in with tears in their eyes. They love playing for a coaching staff or a place. But, man, I just got a call. My agent got a call from this SEC school, and they want to give me $800,000. You're giving me, $70,000. What do I do? Somewhat of an easy answer, right? And so he's accepted what it is. You don't have to love it. None of us love it. But I think that's going to give him an opportunity to be successful. And Tony and I talked a little bit last week in Florida about, how, the conversations, and that's why I brought that up. One of the things I didn't ask him, and some of you are going to say, why didn't you ask him about the Pac-12 rumors? We talked about it. And his answer was going to be, it's above my pay grade. I just got, I control what I can control. But I appreciate the fact that he's acknowledged, what it is, where it is, the reality of it, the conversations. Tony knows what his record is. You know what his record is. You know what New Mexico State's record has been. But they're in a place now where they can be competitive. And if you look at their schedule, there's a path to being a bowl-eligible team. Right? I mean, there's a path for them to look at it. Can they beat Bryant? Tulsa, Louisiana Tech, New Mexico, Sam Houston, Liberty, Missouri State, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw. They got to go to Tennessee in November. UTEP in middle. He's 100% right. I looked around the room. I talked to a bunch of those coaches. I probably spent 4 hours with the coach from Jacksonville State. Really enjoyed it. He's going to come on our show before camp opens because I think it's a great perspective. A guy who coached for Saban and some of these, the biggest names. Charles is going to be with us. But nobody knows. It's like we talked about the Mountain West the other day. How do you know after Boise State and probably UNLV? How do you know what anybody else is going to look like?
You don't.
Look around Conference USA. How do you know what Sam Houston or Middle Tennessee or Western or Liberty is going to look like? 505-246-0610. All right, I promised you tickets. If you're on the phone, I want to get to you as soon as we get back. I promised you these tickets coming up at 8:29, and that's what we're going to do. I got 2 tickets. I don't have them. JJ has them. 2 tickets right now to go see Tyler Childers on the road with special guest Hayes Carl. It's Thursday night. That's tomorrow. 8 o'clock Isleta Amphitheater. All of the winners this week. So you're going to get your tickets emailed to you, but all the winners are going to qualify for access to the exclusive Bud Light Backyard Deck. Call now, 505-246-0610. Call now, 505-246-0610. Caller number 3 is going to win those tickets to go see Tyler Childers. Courtesy of your good friend JJ Buck at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This traffic update.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze.
All right, tickets are gone. Do we have another set to give tomorrow? We have one more tomorrow, maybe? Yeah, tomorrow. One more set of tickets to go see that show, which is tomorrow night at the Zleta Amphitheater. Tyler Childress on the road with special guest Hayes Carl. 505-246-0610. Lamont, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Jeff?
Yeah. What's happening?
Hey, I was going to want to talk about the head coach job for the Knicks.
Yeah, go.
So, I'm talking about, like, everybody, like, from Jay Wright to, Mike Malone to, everybody wants the star coach or whoever. And then they were even talking about Rick Pitino.
Right.
From St. John's.
Yep.
But, so what I'm thinking is, why not go with Richard?
Why not Richard Pitino?
A nice young coach, and then he has the his father's wisdom and everything, and
all right, throw his name in the ring. No, appreciate it. And
Richard Pitino.
All right, thanks, Lamont. Throw Richard Pitino in there. According to one of his colleagues, Jay Wright's not taking the job. Seth Davis. So Seth Davis from CBS Sports. He sits on the desk alongside Jay Wright for the last bunch of NCAA seasons on CBS. Seth Davis wrote on a social media post yesterday. This is when this was all coming out on Jay Wright. This is Seth Davis about Jay Wright. Quote, "I've been working with Jay Wright on TV for 3 years. Based on every conversation we have had, I would say there is a greater chance that I will be the next Knicks coach than him. The difference is if they call me, I will say yes." That's the end of the quote. The difference is if they call me, I'll say yes. He will say no. So, all right, that's one man's opinion. I wonder if Jay Wright's sitting back going, dude, don't talk for me, or, hey, thanks for talking for me. I don't know.
It just feels like that's a comfortable guy. Like, should Jay Wright be on the list? Sure. Do I think he's going to take that job? No.
To your point, like outwardly, that feels like one of the most comfortable guys in America. Honestly. Like, accomplished, affluent, confident, has everything going for him. 63 years old, looks like he's 40 and killing it. Yeah, no, he looks like he's got everything going for it. I kind of want to hear it from him or from someone who's spoken to him directly about this. But, I'll listen to Seth Davis. That's somewhat credible. But, again, sometimes you take your big swing with that first phone call.
Yeah.
Lamont says Richard Pitino. Is Richard ready for that? I don't know. You like a college coach that won at New Mexico, that didn't win at Minnesota, that is he ready?
I don't think he's going to be on the NBA list.
He probably isn't going to be on the Knicks list. Not this time around. But I appreciate where Lamont was going. He's like, okay, enough of all these guys that have been there and done it, and you're retreading them. How about this guy on his way up? All right, I listen to that. I just don't think that's where they're going. I would not want Danny Hurley. I just, if I'm the Knicks, I don't. So Michael Malone might be the guy. Look, Michael Malone won in a place that they'd never won before, right? Denver ever won before?
Nope.
He did it with a superstar. He built. Now, there was a hell of a lot more patience in Denver than there will be in New York. But he's accomplished. You get one ring and you become the dude. That one ring buys you so much instant credibility, right? It just does.
Depends on the franchise.
What do you mean?
Mike Budenholzer get a ring with the Bucks.
Yeah, and then he went, and he got 2 more or 3 more jobs after that, right?
He got fired real quick in Phoenix.
I know, but he kept getting the jobs. Did he get another job before Phoenix?
No.
No, they fired him, but he got a job right away. Kind of, it feels like, look, Mike Budenholzer's name's going to be on here too. Budenholzer's got 2 things going for him. Number 1 is the ring, and number 2, he was on Pop's bench forever. Like the Greg Popovich.
I wonder how much that still's popping though.
Feels like it does amongst the
then
people who.
James Borrego should be a candidate.
But they hired a different for this job. Yeah, the Spurs hired another guy off of Pop's tree.
Well, the one who was coaching for him.
Yeah, who had been there.
Stayed in-house.
Keep the continuity. Yeah. All right, I don't know if they go Richard Pitino, but okay. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалbq.com and JJ at sportsanimалbq.com. We're on the Twitter, or JJ is it's _ JJ Buck, and on the Facebook, the OD in the AM. I can't wait for Tony the Tiger. I'm recording his interview to replay in November. All right, he didn't make any predictions, Bruce. There was no, hey, we're going to win the league, or we're going to, right? I don't know that anything that you can play back from that. You just heard from Tony, and if you didn't hear, the New Mexico State coach, it's available where you get your podcasts. Is there anything that he just said that Bruce can pull up in November that's going to be receipts?
No.
I don't think so, right? I thought Tony was very real about the situation of what is. Gave you a little update. Some players, some guys that got in. They got, where do you say the running back came in? He's got one from Utah and one from
Cal.
From Cal. Yeah. They lost Seth McGowan, I think, to Kentucky right after camp. All right, 505-246-0610. I will get you a bunch of your email. You got response to the Rio Rancho situation. You've got what's this one? NIL stuff. JJ, we got to hit your Rockies too. The Rockies are on fire.
Don't call it a comeback.
What can I call it? What can I call it? I call it a 2-game winning streak, and they won a series. And the series isn't even over. We'll get there, too. 505-246-0610. This weekend at Twin Peaks will be sizzling. Get out there, meet the Miss Twin Peaks contenders in person. They're going to have a poster signing event. It's June 6th. That is Friday, from 5 to 7. After that, stick around for Tequila and Cervezas Friday, handcrafted margaritas, 29-degree imports. They'll have a costume party worth raising your glass to. And then don't miss the Neon Bikini Bash, June 7 through 10. Cocktail specials, wall-to-wall views of the Miss Twin Peaks live stream. It's a full weekend of flavor, fun, and unforgettable views. It's only at Twin Peaks. And don't forget Twin Peaks for lunch and happy hour. Step up your midday routine. Savory soups and salads, hearty sandwiches. All starts at $7.99. And slide into happy hour with handcrafted cocktails, top shelf spirits, the coldest beers in town. Whether you're on break or you're off the clock, there's always something cooking at Twin Peaks. Great food, great drinks, even better views. Only at Twin Peaks.
King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897
505-246-0610 is the number to get in. You can respond to what Tony Sanchez had to say. New Mexico State's football coach was with us. Nick's fired their head coach. Tom Thibodeau's out. We got NFL stuff we still got to get through. Rockies have won 2 in a row. Isotopes have won like 8 out of 10. They're smoking as well. The Rio Rancho baseball urination into the cooler of the opposing team thing is on the table for you as well. Howard, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good morning. You know I have respect for everybody's take on who they feel might be a successor in the coaching ranks. And I respect your caller's opinion, but I think Richard Pitino has a lot more to accomplish on the college level first before you can consider, moving up to an NBA position. And Rick Pitino, I'm wondering, how old is Rick, Jeff?
73.
Does he really want to deal with, and I was going to say that my argument always used to be, does he want to deal with arrogant millionaires? But anymore in the college
But he kind of is.
You're starting to get that too.
Yeah, you already are. So, do you want to get paid for it?
You're already getting that too. But I mean, an 82-game grind versus, about a 35-game grind, depending on how far you go.
Yep.
So I don't know if he's ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think Rick Pitino's the guy there. I mean, you can throw his name in there, and I'd listen to it, and if they talk to him, I would understand it. I just don't think that's where they're going.
Well, help me wrap my head around something. I'm trying to digest why Tom Thibodeau got fired and why they didn't maybe move Karl Anthony Towns and try to maybe go after Giannis or Durant. I mean, I'm really kind of bewildered by this whole thing. Maybe you guys can add some insight for me.
First of all, I think they still may do that. JJ, I don't know if you want. I don't have the insight on that. I just this one's bewildering to me. Howard, the only explanation I somewhat have, and I'll yield to JJ a little bit on this too. I think the front office, when they beat Boston, firmly believed that they were in the finals, right? They were built to beat Boston. And the fact that they lost to Indiana, freaking Indiana, right, who they got to believe they're better than, and that they couldn't get past Indiana, just kind of put the front office in a spiral. I mean, that's why I feel. I mean, do you have a better reason why they went that way?
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, Howard.
Or do I? And I think Indiana's a little underrated, in my opinion. I think they'll make a little bit of noise in the finals, but it's OKC's to lose. Hey, and I know your segment with Kenny was yesterday, correct?
That's correct.
When do you have another segment with him?
Friday.
Would you please question him as to, he's not revealing to you guys that he's a closet Dallas Cowboy fan, so,
I know that to not. I know that to not be true, but
have a good day, guys.
See you. Howard called at 505-246-06. And I don't have a better explanation as to why the Knicks did that. To me, it doesn't make sense. And I'm certainly surmising. And by the way, the Knicks didn't really put out any statement, did they? Have you heard anybody from their front office say a word as to what led to this? Anything on that?
Not more than just that we appreciate all the work.
Wish him luck
and wish him luck moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, your basic template for firing someone. Yeah, I firmly believe that when they beat Boston, I really believe that they, and I say they, not the players, although maybe, but certainly the front office thought they got over the big hurdle. They beat the defending champs, right? I mean, there's no argument, right? They were beat to build the Celtics. That's what they were building for, right? That was the Towns trade, getting rid of DiVincenzo and getting Towns and doing what they did. Mikal Bridges, certainly. And then they couldn't get past freaking Indiana? Like really? And I'm not saying that as that's how I believe it, but I do believe in their, we have respect for them, but we're better than them. And then game one happened. And game one might have been it. They blew a 20-point lead. They did it with, remember Brunson sitting there on the sideline? He had one timeout left, and they couldn't get him back in the game. I mean, if you could put some on Tibbs for game one, absolutely. But they had their first back-to-back 50-win seasons in 30 years. They were in their first conference final in a quarter of a century, and they gassed him. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
or visit. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
The Sports Animal. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Rockies are on fire. Topes are hot. Hockey's Stanley Cup final starts tonight, a day away from the NBA Finals. What is up, boys and girls? Thanks for being with us. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. 505-246-0610 is how you get here today. As you do every day, the emails come in to Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Adrian's producing where you watch the show on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, and on Xfinity Channel 26 and on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Good conversation today with Tony Sanchez, the New Mexico State football coach. You can listen to that if you missed it. It's over on our website, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive. It'll be up later or wherever you get your podcast. A lot of talk about the Knicks job. And it's you know, I think just because it was such a surprise. You get a franchise to the Eastern Conference Final, a franchise that has not been that far in a quarter of a century. It was 2000 last time they were there. A franchise that won 50 games for consecutive years for the first time in 30 years. And they fire the coach, JJ. I don't know. I feel Knick fan, for the most part, was against the move. We'll see how they feel after they announce a hire. Mike says, you know what, Jeff Lou, lack of using your bench in the NBA is the equivalent of play calling in the NFL. It's a cop-out when you don't have a better reason for firing. Okay. This is the talk of the sports world, right? It's not going away.
Bench play. It's about stealing the right minutes at the right time for your star players. You have to manage it. You need guys that can play. But I think at any level of basketball, it's something that is overblown. We'd be better if the 8th or 9th person on the bench was playing. Not really.
No, it's why they're the 8th or 9th person on the bench. Right?
Like, you're getting compensated handsomely to play the most minutes possible in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, got some other stuff that you guys sent in. Lobo Hobo says, breakout, JJ. Rockies are winners of 2 straight. Rockies won last night in Florida. Where is this? Somebody sent me this picture. Here it is. It's Richard sent me a picture of the attendance last night at Marlins Park, whatever they call that place. The Marlins announced their paid attendance at 5,894. It looks smaller than any Tuesday night Isotopes crowd I've ever seen. Did you see the crowd last? Did you watch any of the game last night? There was nobody there. Not that the Marlins are ripping it up, and then the Rockies come to town on a Tuesday night with the worst record in baseball. Hey, let's grab the kids and get out and see that.
Sure, that is one where you have better things to do.
Yeah. No, I've got to clean the bathtub tonight. Yeah. So I got it, Richard. And I appreciate the picture. It's something. All right. This one. Which way do I want to go first? All right. We talked about the Rio Rancho baseball situation and the junior varsity player at Rio Rancho who admitted he urinated in the water jug for the opposing team, and some players drank out of it. The assistant DA basically said yesterday that there is no crime with which to charge this young man, and there won't be anything. David said Mo Maestas, the state senator, was interviewed right after they showed the Sandoval County DA, explaining why she did not believe charges could be brought. He totally disputed what she said and explained that charges have been brought in numerous cases that were similar to the situation nationwide, being that someone purposely urinated in another person's drinking container. He also said that any lawyer worth their salt would easily be able to bring those charges and believes this probably won't be the end of this. David continues, my guess is that the Sandoval County DA did not really want to take this further, so no more attention would be brought to their school in their town. It's politics, especially since the victim's school is from a different town and a different school system. Believe me, La Cueva parents won't just accept this as the final word. I'm actually more interested in how the NMAA is going to handle this. They've been pretty quiet so far. And in the past, they've been pretty heavy-handed on other schools as far as handing out strikes to programs, using their motto, compete with class, as the basis for handing out punishments. I would think that this incident is a big-time violation of that credo and would earn a strike for the whole program. As a coach, that would probably be the end of the line for that player in my program and any other player directly involved in that situation. Doesn't mean it's ruining their lives, just a consequence and result of a bad decision. It's from David. It's interesting, and I did not think of that, JJ. So the NMAA has that strike policy. It's if fans yell obscenities, racial laden slurs, things like that, the program can get a strike, and there are consequences as you go deeper into the, I think it's a 3-strike program. I'm not super familiar with it. Where does this play into that? I've not heard from the NMAA, and I
think now they can move.
Now that it's
I wouldn't
resolved.
want to jump ahead. I don't think there's anything wrong with them waiting, but strike policy, absolutely. Did the team team didn't finish season, correct?
The JV, this was JV.
Yeah.
And I know they had shut down for a while. I don't know that they ever restarted the JV season. I don't know for a fact. I don't know.
But I absolutely have that on that team, knowing that, all right, next one could result in you not playing again for the season. Nothing wrong with that. And again, I don't think that there should be nothing that comes from this. And I do think that this is one that the people didn't want to work harder and just figure out, okay, if you don't want to bring down 16 assault and battery charges on this, do you plead it out? Can you do community service? Like, there has to be some accountability, absolutely, for this.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Is there a misdemeanor charge that goes away when you're 18 or 21 years old? That and again, nobody's saying go to prison for this. Although if you did it again, we could have a conversation. But you used the word earlier, example, and it's been sticking in my mind, because are there worse offenses? There absolutely are. But this is disgusting. This is not okay. And so I'm struggling with whether or not I think, should it be, do you make it by pressing charges or having consequence? I don't even know if I've thought of it in terms of an example, but you've made me think differently on this. And I'm not sure. I think that, maybe it shouldn't be. All I know is there should be some sort of consequence. And if it's deemed to be an example, so be it. But there can't be any thought that somebody at any other school at any other time says, well, dude, I'm gonna pee in their jug. That one kid from Rio Rancho got away with it. What are they going to do to you? We're not going to get caught anyway, but if we do, whatever. I don't know if that's part of it, and I don't even think
Kids
that
do
should
a lot
be
of
part
dumb
of it.
stuff, but maybe I'm just that old guy. Get off of really just having these massive conversations about peeing and things.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, to me, there's got to be something. What do you think of what David said, where he says, as a coach, that would probably be the end of the line for that player in my program and any other player directly involved in that situation. Doesn't mean it's ruined their lives, just a consequence and a result for their bad decision. Now, I don't know who the player is. I don't know his class, meaning sophomore, junior, whatever. I'm going to assume an underclassman if he was playing JV. Okay? So let's just go with the assumptions of freshman or sophomore. Is that player done playing baseball in your program for the rest of his high school career?
No. You'd have to earn it back, though.
Okay.
Like, I'd have to, your spot's not given. Like, you have to show me that you realize how bad this was for you, how bad this was for the team. Because there's a chance that that's the last competitive sport that kid will ever play.
It's probably.
Was high school.
No, it's probably
baseball.
Yeah.
Right? And when I look at it, and examples, this or that, but then we're saying, oh, if you did this and you're a pro, you could be right back after just serving a 5-game suspension. So I don't want to take away the game forever for that incident.
All right. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in on this. And I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. It's an interesting thought from where David is. And again, the text line said there needs to be a charge of some sort. He did it to the wrong high school, though. The La Cueva parents have the money to sue, where Albuquerque High parents most likely don't. I don't know what La Cueva parents are doing. I don't know. And again, I don't know what sort of civil case you can manufacture here. I'll lean on the lawyers here. I don't know that there was any physical harm. You'd have to prove that your son somehow got sick from drinking urinated water. I would imagine if you were going to go this way, you would go on the mental anguish side of it. My son's afraid to drink water now because this kid urinated and he's embarrassed, and the mental anguish and the trauma and I imagine you could play that angle. I don't know what you think you're going to get. I guess you would go after what, the kid's parents, the school district. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking litigiously because I live in a litigious world. I'd like to believe that if it was my kid, I mean, would I go that route? I don't believe I would, but I'm going to guess that that's a possibility. I don't know. I'll lean on the lawyers on this. But you guys are pretty passionate about this one today. 505-246-0610. All right. When we get back, I want to get into some of the stuff Tony Sanchez had to say. I got an email on NIL, and Dan wants to know, how do we know that New Mexico taxpayers aren't going to get fleeced? 505-246-0610. It is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call
Facebook, where legends are made.
Good stuff today, boys and girls. We can get in the NFL too. Aaron Rodgers has not signed yet. I want to get into the Bears stuff too, but let me give you what you got. We're talking about the NIL stuff a little bit. You heard the pitcher for Texas Tech softball that's going to pitch against Texas in the College Softball World Series today. Did you hear Boomer Esiason's thing earlier? I think it was Boomer Esiason, the CBS Sports Minute or Infinity Sports Minute. where Texas Tech gave this young lady a reported $1 million NIL deal to come over. And that's how they got her from Stanford, and now they're in the College World Series. I'm going to guess they feel that's a good return on their investment, right?
Pretty good.
NIL is most likely, if the House settlement ever gets settled, and we were expecting it weeks ago, but we're expecting July 1, which is coming quickly, that paying players is going to come in-house, that it's going to be revenue sharing, that it's, and everybody's going to opt into it. Dan asks, who is representing the state of New Mexico taxpayers? Jeffrey and Juan Jose. I can look at in the Sunshine Portal, and I can see what the chemistry professor Joe Blow is making. I can do a public records request to find out how much JJ and Hayden Graham Armstrong are billing for pregame show services. I'm not sure you can. Maybe you can that. They work for a private company, I think. Anyway, but who's going to be in the room July 1st to make sure the state of New Mexico taxpayers aren't getting the shaft in these new NIL deals? Who's going to make sure we all know what the quarterback or point guard is making, just like we know what the chemistry professor is making? I believe, Dan, once that is brought in-house, those will all become public. The way I understand it, whether it's here at Florida State or UCLA, that once revenue sharing is brought in-house, players are getting paid through the university as opposed to through collectives. I believe that will all be public information. It's the way I understand it. So you'll have people looking out for you. Dan says, Jeffrey and others signed summer's almost over. 87 days until JJ and Nedward Abraham James' pregame show. Yeah, it's coming. Rod says, can I be Troy Calhoun Jefferson with a month until Vegas? I can't wait. Well, Jeff, it's the worst of both worlds right now at the Air Force Academy. Our players, students, they're soldiers first with rigorous schedules. And before they step on the football field, we can't get a bunch of mercenaries like everyone else on our conference. Yet our guys enter the transfer portal like everyone else, and we're not allowed to keep them with big NIL deals. So we'll be lucky to win a game this year. Thank you, Rod. I'm going to media days. I just don't know that I'm bringing back a bunch of interviews this year. But we'll see. All right, 505-246-0610. NFL. 90-something days from that? Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons is not signed to an extension. However, he will attend the team's mandatory minicamp next week. He'll be at the start of training camp? ? I don't know. Quote, I haven't missed minicamp in 4 years, even though the contract's not done. I have teammates and a playbook. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp. But it's in the owner's hands. I'm ready to win a Super Bowl. Quote Micah Parsons. He's 25 years old, eligible for an extension. He's now in the final year of his deal. He's only scheduled, JJ, to make $24 million this year. What's Micah Parsons worth on the open market?
Ooh, very, very good chunk of change.
$33 million annually? 4 years, 33?
Probably 40s.
40s. Yeah. Okay. He's 25 years old, eligible for an extension after this season. Only going to make 25. I don't know how you live on $24 million. I mean, that's fair. He's getting old. He's got to make a living. All right, then you got the Bears deal. The Bears are going to... Hard Knocks is the Cowboys this year? Is that right? If you could pick a team that you would be inside for training camp this year, where would you want to be? I know my answer.
You thinking Chicago?
I'm thinking Chicago. Yeah, with a new coach, with the dynamic around the quarterback, with what you're going to hear about DJ Moore, with the kind of the pressure to get over the hump now with the Bears. Yeah. I did the Rodgers thing. Pittsburgh would be interesting, but I did the Rodgers thing 2 years ago. I'm over that. I don't need to be there. Denver would interest me a bit. Certainly the Chargers would interest me with Harbaugh. But I think the Bears is my answer. Hell, Cleveland could be really interesting with the quarterback, just because of the quarterback.
Quarterback room, Joe Flacco, shoot over Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, just that dynamic alone. But I think Chicago might be my answer. the most interesting training camps. DJ Moore's a wide receiver of the Bears. Walked off the field during an offensive play in a game against the Cardinals. Sat down on the bench before the play ended. The head coach is Ben Johnson. He's addressed Moore's bad body language as a wide receiver. Quote, just don't do it. Just keep it inside. Talk about it later. Just don't put it on film. Don't put it on TV. This is what Ben Johnson evidently told DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a what receiver in the NFL? Fill in the blank. DJ Moore is a blank receiver.
Second tier receiver.
Okay. DJ Moore is a good receiver. DJ Moore had the potential, I believe, at one point to be a number one. Kind of struggling with where he's gone with the potential. DJ Moore is a good veteran receiver in the NFL. I don't know that he's good enough to be diva good, although I think that comes with being a wide receiver. How much does body language bother you? When you see a guy on the football field, right? We hear about it all the time. You see his body language. He's slumping his shoulders. He's hanging his head. Or he's walking with his chest out and he looks confident. It's just body language bother you. We read certain guys' body language way more. We read Rodgers all the time, right? Aaron Rodgers' body language. We read it all the time. Some guys slump shoulders, head down. Just looks like they don't want to be there. Body language mean a lot to you from a receiver? I think it can from a receiver.
Yeah, it opens up, so many more things. You said you had other teams talking about it. You're throwing your quarterback directly under the bus. That outward frustration, you're going to have moments of that, man. It's competition. But especially when it's a young quarterback and they're trying to make him the leader of the team.
Yep.
And you have something like that dramatic and drastic, it shows just how big of a thing it was that it's already been addressed by the new coach.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even playing games. Like,
he went back and looked at something from last year.
It's already just like, hey, man, you need to get this figured out.
Yeah, I think especially with a young quarterback, because I don't know that you got a receiver with an attitude like that with Rodgers, right? I don't know that I've had one receiver pout and be a diva with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. Give me a receiver that's had a bad attitude there. I can't recall a receiver with a bad attitude with Matthew Stafford. Right? I mean, when you've got a accomplished, confident quarterback, the receiver can't really play that role. I mean, do you have one? I'm sure there's a situation where a guy, Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen. Right?
Yes.
All right, that's probably it.
Diggs is one.
But it's uncommon where the receiver gets to pout when there's an accomplished, and you can probably argue with me, well, what is Josh Allen accomplished? At that point, he was not yet MVP, and he certainly hasn't been to the Super Bowl. Okay. But when you look at these established stud quarterbacks, you rarely have the malcontent, slumping, pouting diva receivers. Now, not always, right? Dallas has had their share. But look at the teams that are successful. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith aren't complaining about not getting enough balls with the Eagles, are they?
A little bit.
I guess A.J. Brown did a little
end
bit
of the
last
season.
year. Yeah.
Passing game wasn't common.
Yeah. But DJ Moore, and to your point, man, you got a young quarterback who's trying to establish himself, and a young quarterback with all the pressure of the world on him. You're in a big city, in a place with a fan base that's starving for success. You are the savior of a franchise who has been cursed without a quarterback for 4 decades. You were the number 1 overall, can't miss. Oh, and then your daddy came out and said you don't want to be here. There's a lot on Caleb Williams. This isn't a woe is me story. He's well compensated for the pressure that he's got, but that doesn't make the pressure any less. Right? Yeah, I got a lot of money, but still every day I got to go to work, and the pressure's still real. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm asking you to understand it. There's a difference, right? I mean, would we admit, like, of all the quarterbacks, we do this every year. This is a big year for this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, whoever, right? I'm not telling you this is a make or break year for Caleb Williams. And I'm not telling you every single quarterback in the league doesn't have a lot of pressure on him. But as far as pressure and microscope, the Bears and Caleb Williams is kind of in the top shelf going into this year. They've solved, everybody tells you they've solved their problem at quarterback. Oh, they've got a new offense. They brought in the genius, Ben Johnson. Now he's going to be good. He's got weapons. He's got receivers. They've got everything. This is the year to finally get number one over the hump. Like, I will tell you there's as much pressure and spotlight on him as there is on everyone, understanding that every quarterback in this league has a ton of pressure on him.
Absolutely, just based on draft capital, the investments in these skill positions around him over the last 2 years, and the head coach, which was a direct hire because of the offensive side of football.
And throw in what his daddy said. I think that's not going to get lost in this. This whole, daddy said he didn't want to be there, and we tried to circumvent the draft, and we were going to go to the World Foot or the UFL or whatever the hell it is, and we were going to hire lawyers. And I'm just going to tell you, the second he doesn't play well, that stuff's coming back at him. Those fans don't forget that. I mean, you don't want to be here. And then you are? Yeah, there's not a quarterback in this league that doesn't have pressure on him. Pick one. Every single one of them does. And it's a prove-it league, and it's a prove-it-every-year league. Like, everyone. But a little extra with the spotlight, the situation, the contract, the number one overall, the daddy stuff, the new head coach. I mean, I think you'd be hard-pressed. I think Brock Purdy's somewhat in that place because that franchise and the contract they gave him. He better have a good year. But everybody better have a good year. You don't have a good year at quarterback, they're looking at, all right, who's next? Matthew Stafford goes down this year, the Rams are going to figure out who's next. If Jared Goff doesn't have a good year, well, I mean, maybe we've maxed him out. Sam Darnold doesn't have a good year. Oh, we swung and missed. We got to get a quarterback. Right? There's very few that are steady. I mean, you got Burrow, you got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes that no matter what happens, they're good for a couple years, and Lamar Jackson. Probably Jalen Hurts. After that, how many of these guys are you certain for another few years? Justin Herbert, because, I mean, nothing sticks to him. 505-246-0610. Got more NFL stuff for you. Sam Darnold really going to be the starting quarterback up in Seattle? The head coach was asked about it because, well, maybe he's not going to be. I'll tell you how that goes. And one receiver just going, bleep it. You know what I mean? Just bleep it. But he didn't say bleep. All right, going to get a little rain today, a little wind, and then we're going into a run of hot weather. Take care of your vehicle. Take care of the filth that's on your car. Take care of the paint. Take care of the inside. Get it detailed from On the Spot Automotive Detailing. You're in it right now, huh? Look around, because mine's about ready to. Been traveling a bit. I'm waiting to be home for a stretch and have On the Spot come out again. They come out and detail your vehicle. That means they detail it inside and outside, under the hood, around the rims. Like, remember when you took your car off the lot? It's brand new car clean. That's what the auto dealers do. That's what On the Spot Automotive Detailing does, and they do it better than anybody. They've been voted best in the city because of the quality of their product and because of how they do it. They come to you. You don't take your car across town. You don't need to get dropped off. You don't sit around in a waiting room for 2 hours. They bring it to you while you're in your office or while you're in your house. They're outside detailing your vehicle, and when they're done, your car looks and feels brand new. Ask them about paint protection film and ceramic coating to protect your paint from the rocks and the muds and everything that's going on outside. Window tinting as well. Awarded best in the city because they go above and beyond to ensure your vehicle's in top shape. It's On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Book and buy online at otsdetailing.com. It is otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro Beef. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
All right, tomorrow, Michael Sinclair is going to be with us, the former Eastern New Mexico star, 11 years in the National Football League, getting inducted in the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. Going to catch up with him. I think you'll enjoy that. 505-246-0610 is the opening drive. Jeff Simbieta and J.J. Buck. All right, so who's the starting quarterback for the Seahawks? It seems pretty cut and dry, right? It should be Sam Darnold. Seattle Sports Talk 710 had the head coach of the Seahawks, Mike Macdonald, on Tuesday. And it was asked if there's anything other than an injury that could cause a change, that could cause Sam Darnold to not be the starting quarterback. And so it made me think, I thought, all right, who else is in Seattle, right? Like, this was the whole point of bringing Sam Darnold over, getting rid of Geno Smith, and where you going in your depth chart, like who's behind him? Jalen Milroe and Drew Lock. Who's number 2? It's got to be Drew Lock, right? It's number 2, right? They drafted Jalen Milroe. So McDonald said, quote, no, you guys are crazy. I respect you got to ask it, but it's just a crazy question. It's not going to happen. Sam's our starting quarterback. We love him. He's doing a tremendous job. End quote. Boom. Period. Stop. He signed a 3-year deal. He's coming off a really good year in which his team won 14 games. He completed 66.2% of his passes, threw for over 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like, period, right? And I think to myself, JJ, okay, before I start going silly on this, if Mike McDonald was sitting here, would I ask him that question? And I don't know how, like, if I'd have talked about the quarterback situation, I probably would have said, hey, so Sam's in, you draft Jalen Milroe. Obviously, Sam's your starting quarterback now. Is there a plan to develop Jalen, or what was the thought process when you went out and picked Jalen Milroe? I think that's how I would have asked the question, as opposed to, I mean, is there a chance that somebody besides Darnold starts? And you look at that depth chart and like, who the hell else is going to start?
You have one open media session where he threw some interceptions in practice earlier this week, and then this guy is falling because people don't want to believe that Sam Darnold can actually grow off of last season, that he could be one of those guys that takes his lump, gets in different situations. Minnesota was better than Seattle, but that experience, can you use it to be good in this situation? And there's just so much uncertainty, and people just are betting against Sam Darnold before the season even starts.
Do you think a big part of it is because what Seattle dumped, meaning they got rid of Lockett, they got rid of DK Metcalf, because you don't have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, the receiving core there. Look, was he bad at the end of the year? Like they had two bad games, and they happened to be the last two. They got beat by Detroit in that final game 31-9. And then they got beat by the Rams 27-9 in the playoffs. Sam Darnold was not good in the Detroit game. He threw for 166 yards. He threw for 245 in the Rams game. Now, I'll make an argument Detroit's better than them, but defensively, I don't know that I thought Detroit was great. He had two bad games at the end of the year. We give quarterbacks all the credit and all the blame. So if he's going to take all the blame, shouldn't he get some of the credit for being 14-2 before that? And you got to decide, as Seattle has, is the real Sam Darnold the guy who went 14-2 or the guy who lost his last two games to what are believed to be two of the four best teams in the NFC? Now, you thought you were one of those four best teams. Do you believe that they upgraded? Geno Smith is out and Sam Darnold is in. Do you believe Seattle upgraded a quarterback?
No.
I do. Why do you not?
But if anything, it's a push.
Okay.
Geno's
numbers are nice.
Did a lot in that offense the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's one where even I had to kind of go back and realize, this was better than I thought.
Yeah.
And it's what Sam Darnold's battling right now. It's just Geno Smith. It's just Sam Darnold.
So Geno, if you watch their games, I thought Geno threw a lot of untimely interceptions. I thought he turned the ball over at really crucial times. And you can look at guys' numbers, and sometimes they're deceiving. There's a saying that numbers don't lie, and I believe that usually to be true, but you got to look a little deeper. And I thought Geno turned the ball over and didn't make plays sometimes in key situations. I also believe, and this is just me, and time will bear this out, I believe Geno might have peaked where I believe there's a little bit more upside for Darnold. And so if you're going to tell me right now, I got to win a game tomorrow, is it a push? I'll listen to that. Sam Darnold or Geno Smith. But I believe there's a little more upside to Sam Darnold if you coach him up and get. I think he can continue to grow, where I kind of believe Geno's peaked. And that's why I believe they upgraded. And that's why they believe they upgraded, right? I got to believe that's why they believe they upgraded. All right, one other NFL piece before we hit this final break. Calvin Ridley has played with a lot of quarterbacks. So Calvin Ridley's in Washington now? No, I mean in Tennessee now? Yeah, that's right. That's where he was last year. Calvin Ridley is working with another rookie. He's working with Cam Ward, the number one pick. So they're in camp, and Calvin Ridley was asked about Cam Ward, the quarterback's mindset, as he's gotten to know this quarterback. Quote, Calvin Ridley now. He's relaxed. You need that at the quarterback position, man. You just can't be an overthinker, a jittery guy. You've just got to be okay with, bleeping up, doing good. You just got to have that bleep it mentality. And he's kind of got that, end quote. I believe that to be a wonderful compliment, right?
Yeah. That was It's really interesting. I think Cam Ward is actually going to be a number 1 overall pick that is overlooked this year. Just in Tennessee, not a ton of expectations like we've seen with Caleb Williams. And
that's interesting
for him to be getting the attention of his teammates having the right attitude, because that's what we're talking about, is these young guys trying to establish themselves as difference makers in that huddle.
So is it because of the market? Is it because of the performance of the team the previous year? Is it because there's a new head coach? Why do you believe Tennessee, and more so Cam Ward, will not be nearly under as much of the microscope as Caleb Williams was?
Market and hype. Like we were talking about Caleb Williams for a little while.
Well, and Caleb Williams was the latest can't miss, right? He was Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence, right? This was a can't miss guy. Cam Ward is, well, he's the best of the class kind of a guy, right?
Yes.
Shouldn't the number 1 pick be somewhat held to the same standard?
That is correct.
Calvin Ridley's his number 1. Tyler Lockett's his number 2. He's got Okonkwo, who's a pretty good tight end. Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are the running back. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're loaded, but I'm not going to tell you they're empty either. I don't know that he's got a go-to guy. He's got 2 guys on the back end. Lockett is as good a possession receiver as there's been in this league in a decade. He doesn't get the love, but Tyler Lockett's been a terrific pro. I think Calvin Ridley's on the back end. I mean, I've been waiting for him to bust out the last 2 years, and I think there's probably not much left. I thought Pollard had a nice season last year in Tennessee. Better than I thought he would.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's 30.
Okay.
So,
magic number.
Veteran. Tyler Lockett is, I'm right there with you, man. Just PPR monster.
Yeah. Big play
reliable.
guy. Big play guy. Doesn't drop balls. Takes hits. Yeah. Be interesting to see how he does there. They got to get better defensively. But that's not what I'm worried about with Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward should be judged as much as any other number 1. You're the overall number 1. But we'll see, because there's 0 expectations for Tennessee. Like, you're going to tell me, give me the worst team in the AFC, and they might come to mind for you. Right? I mean, who's the worst team in the AFC?
Steelers.
What if they get Aaron Rodgers?
They don't have Aaron Rodgers right now.
What if they get Aaron Rodgers?
They don't have Aaron Rodgers right
I'm
now.
assuming they're going to get him. You think they're the worst team simply because of quarterback?
Mason Rudolph starts the entire year.
Yeah. Yep. Is that a worse roster than, I don't know, New England?
Like, the TJ Watt defense, they're going to play hard, but...
No. I mean, you can make a case for everybody, right? To be pretty good. All right, we'll wrap you up when we get back. 505-246-0610. Email still coming in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more.
Is the playoffs are insane, just like any other playoffs are. It'll be up in Canada. This means so much to Canada. Oilers and Panthers in a rematch of last year's final. What does this tell you? The over-under in total goals is 6.5. It's insane for a hockey game. You like over on it?
Taking the over game one.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So that's at least a 4-3, 5-2 game.
Connor McDavid.
Both of these teams score in bunches.
Saddle.
Well, I mean, Florida
Chuck,
scores in
let's
bunches,
go.
though.
4-3. 4-3 final.
Who's going to win?
Edmonton.
Oilers.
Still won.
All right. Oilers are
Game
minus 120 favorites tonight. Game one of the NBA is tomorrow. The game will be in Oklahoma City. Starting in these huge markets at Edmonton and Oklahoma City. In fact, the Pacers had to fly into or land in Tulsa and refuel because of all the storms that were going
Like,
down.
oh, this is what happens in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the country in the middle of the year, and there's stuff flying around in the air. It's crazy.
We got cows
flying around. Yes. So that's there for you. If you missed Tony Sanchez, the New Mexico State head football coach, he was with us this morning. If you missed that or want to hear that again or share that with your friends, it will be available wherever you get your podcast. You can go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. If you click on the opening drive, it'll be there, and you'll be able to get that. Tomorrow on the opening drive, we will have reaction to the NFL or the NHL Stanley Cup first game. We will get you ready, of course, for the NBA Finals. And looking forward to a conversation with 11-year NFL veteran Michael Sinclair, who played his college football at Eastern New Mexico. He's going to be inducted into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame coming up later this month, and we're going to talk to him about his career and his path in New Mexico and the NFL, and maybe he's got a thought on Seattle's starting quarterback as well. We'll ask him, did they upgrade? That'll be a good conversation with Michael Sinclair, but looking forward to that as well. Tonight, you get the hockey, you get the Rockies looking to, are we asking too much to sweep a series?
There's only two teams.
Yeah.
With a longer winning streak than the Rockies right now.
Shut up.
Padres and Cubs. So.
Padres beat the Giants last night? Giants in those throwback...
Padres have won 3 in a row, as have the Cubs.
Giants in those throwback uniforms. Addy was like, why are they wearing those ugly uniforms? That's what they used to wear, man.
It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
That's the truth. That's the truth. We were... You know what I found out? I was talking to my mom last night. She's watching the game, Dodger game. But we're watching on the MLB network where they do that 4-screen. You're watching all 4 games at one time. It's kind of phenomenal if you like the baseball.
MLB network, the wraparound, it's as close as you're going to get to like Red Zone.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And they give you like highlights and they pick the audio, which should be right. So we were watching the White Sox beat the Tigers. We're watching that Padres-Giants game. The Dodgers-Mets were on. The A's and watched the end of the Red Sox-Angels, and the A's were on. That was kind of... I don't know that I spent a lot of time on it, but we probably spent a half hour, 45 minutes on that last night. It was kind of fun. All right, working on a bunch of stuff for you for the rest of the week. Kenny's going to be with us on Friday. It's already Wednesday, right? All right. I think I give you a garage show on Friday. Yeah. People love that background. I think I get that on Friday as well. Thank you to Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach, who's with us today. The Herd with Colin Cowherd is next. The Jim Rome Show follows that. 2 Men On comes in at 4. Then you get Isotopes Baseball after that. They're playing, who are they playing? Oh, they're down playing the Chihuahuas. They're down in El Paso. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning. We'll start it at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work on the visuals. Looks good, as it always does, and thank you. He is JJ Buck. I am merely Jeff Symbieta. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy. You got basketball practice tonight. Coach Buck. See you tomorrow morning. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.